Okay, everyone. We're gonna get started. Thanks for bearing with us with the room change and everything. This ended up being much more popular than we had anticipated. But welcome everyone. I'm really happy to see all of you here at our CS224G demo day. So just really quick about this class. So Jan and I started this class around 3 years ago, and this is the third time that we've held the class. And the premise here is really just leveraging the new way that that projects are built, like powered by AI. I think it's safe to say that this class would have not been possible pre-Gen AI. Like it is really it's really definitely powered by generative AI.
So I ran a couple of courses in previous tech booms. Web 2.0, and then the kind of underground wave that happened when the cloud really became the dominant thing. And it's safe to say that the AI boom is dramatically bigger and more intense and more exciting than anything that I've experienced in 25 years here in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, and so we capped the enrollment strictly at 60 students. So like it has a huge wait list for the class. And then so for the last 10 weeks, in fact, I guess it was the last four, we had four 2-week sprints actually, so 8 weeks. These groups have been working on their projects, and this is a really unique course because they choose their own teams and they choose their own project ideas, right? It's kind of rare at Stanford to have like nothing is actually assigned. We actually let everyone pick their own ideas, and this is much more similar to what you see in the real world, where you do pick your own teammates and you do pick your own projects. And so you'll see some of the projects that people will have worked on for basically these last 4 sprints here. And then this is like the culmination of all their work so far. And so thanks everyone for coming here, because this is like the deadline. This is like the forcing function that forces everyone to work really hard and do a really good job at the presentation. So today, and each of the teams are going to have 5 minutes. And we're going to be strict around the time because we have a lot of teams to get through. So you're going to have 5 minutes, and then we're going to cut you off right at 5. So try to keep it under 5 if you can, right? And if you're interested in more, we have a lot more on our course website. You can learn a lot more about what topics that we cover. Many of the course notes and the lecture notes are on the website, and we lean heavily into guest lectures. We had some amazing guest lectures this time of real practitioners, people who have practical experience in building real products, utilizing LLMs, right? And like I mentioned, we're 4 weeks up until today. We have our demo day and launch today. There are 20 projects that we're going to cover, and this is why we're going to try to get through them as quickly as possible. But I guess without any further ado, let's see what they built. So we want to bring up the first team, and then we can.
Of course. So first team is going to be Team Aid. Please follow to the stage.
Just give them my hand, yeah. Here you go.
All right. Well, everyone, hope everyone's doing well. Today we will be presenting our 224G project 8, which is a platform we built to stress test medical AI chatbots before they give advice about your child's health. This project was made by Ryan Daw, Ian Song, Yoshi Nakashi, and Daniel Rickfield. And so the issue that we're overall tackling is to just make LLMs more reliable and to stress test them more. A recent Baylor College of Medicine study found that over half of caregivers already use or would use an AI chatbot for their child's health questions. And so we know that there's already a population already using LLMs for health advice. And so when we actually tested these chatbots, we found real failures. Chatbots would recommend adult aspirin doses for toddlers. Respiratory distress would be dismissed as a common cold, and the LLMs would cover up scenarios so that the parents wouldn't have to go to the ER. Overall, there is a fundamental and core problem in utilizing LLMs for healthcare advice, and overall, they're highly inaccurate. And so we need a way to systematically test these chatbots for pediatric safety before they're deployed. And so with this, our product solves 3 capabilities. And so first, we generate realistic pediatric scenarios And they're not just random synthetic prompts, but cases based on real triage patterns, which are informed by actual pediatricians and doctors. Second, we create simulated conversations where one AI plays a worried parent and another AI is the chatbot under test. And then third, we evaluate with our dual layer grading system, which is a hard-coded safety rubric for objective failures, and then an LLM judge for a more nuanced assessment. And so additionally, you can also add your own custom evaluation criteria for whatever needs you have. And we chose to do pediatrics because of two main reasons. Children are a unique problem in healthcare due to their specific dosages and their different needs in healthcare, and also that they present symptoms differently from adults. Additionally, a few people on the team are also taking additional coursework centered around pediatrics, which made our skills and context more applicable. And because of this, we're able to hone in on our customer reviews by consulting the appropriate professionals.
Yeah, so as Ryan mentioned, but we'll go into a little bit more depth of how it works. It's pretty straightforward. You create a scenario, you stress test your desired models on, you select the models. We support up to 5 simultaneously for each run. Then we run the simulation and then have our built-in judge evaluate how well the models performed on the scenarios. So we can move on to the demo that we recorded.
Hello, this is AID, a platform for red teaming medical LLMs to find safety issues before they reach patients. We start by defining pediatric medical test scenarios, either manually or AI generated from a hint. And we can just do tests, continue to model. You can choose models from our built-in models or create your own. And then once you do run config and check number of runs or messages per runs just to generate as many as possible. And down here, you will be able to run simulation and see what you generate. After this, and you can see all of your old simulation info, you can go to scenarios and see any safe scenarios you wanted, and filter them by newest or names, check which ones you've had, and you can also create them and generate them here. After that, you can also check out results from the simulations. So here we have one here, where we have our LLM judge evaluation. You can run a custom judge if you want. We also have the full transcript. Outside of this, we also have our judge rule set, where you can create new criteria which is more deterministic of specific rules, and you can also live test it on old simulations. Thank you.
So going a little bit more in depth as to how our judge works, which I feel is a pretty crucial part of the product. So first, we developed a comprehensive list of real pediatric scenarios with a pediatrician. And we incorporated that into a deterministic safety rubric. And you can see some of the cases that are covered. And then our second layer is using the LLM as a judge, where we incorporated core clinical metrics, user safety rails, and red flags inside our system prompt to catch those. And then we give it a overall score and suggestions to improve the model based on that score. That was our presentation.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next move up.
Yep. Enter ViewCo.
Hey, my name's Anand. Unfortunately, Maxim, my partner, couldn't make it today, but I'll share a little bit about InterviewCo. So the problem we wanted to solve is that it's really hard to scale quantitative interviews. And the reason why is because you have to play scheduling Tetris with hundreds, if not thousands of participants, manually transcribe all of those interviews, and then synthesize those interviews, maintaining context over a large corpus of data. And that's a huge problem for both user experience researchers as well as any product manager. And it results in millions in lost opportunity cost because you're very separated from actual meaningful customer insight. What we wanted to build was an AI platform that could reduce study turnaround time from 3 months to 1 week. And the way we did that was by running qualitative interviews at scale with AI. It's a really simple flow. Companies create a study and share a public interview link. and participants can then click on that link and talk to an AI voice interviewer. Our platform stores those transcripts, summaries, and study level insights. And these companies can then dissect them, pull apart interesting quotes, and probe further when necessary. So in terms of what we worked on this quarter, we can split it into three things. The first part was the end-to-end workflow. We built a full qualitative research workflow from study creation to participant interviews and final insight review. We built a dual-sided product experience. That means creating both the internal researcher dashboard and the public no login participant interview flow. And then we built the AI analysis pipeline. That's the live voice interviews, transcript storage, summaries, cross-interview insights, and configurable prompt settings. In terms of how the system works, our front end is a typical Next.js application. And we used Supabase for auth and storage. Everything's hosted on, deployed on Vercel. And for our AI and voice infrastructure, we used Vapi to do the real-time voice interviews. And we used Grok with the Q that is, for summaries and study level insight generation. So here is a quick demo. It doesn't have audio, unfortunately, but you can see this is what the homepage looks like for people. Just walking through things, they can go and sign in, and you have your active studies, and you can also go ahead and create a new study. With the new study, you can type in a study name, a desired research goal, and you can do a specific study configuration, including the product name, context about the product, and any specific questions you want the AI interviewer to hit, as well as an interview style. So if you want them to be chill, funny, formal, you can talk about all of that. And then there's a copyable participant link, so you can go and copy that. Someone can paste that in. All they have to do is type in their name and email address, and you can then go and start the interview. And you can see that like a live transcript gets streamed as well, where the AI is the blue text and you are the gray text with all the different questions that the AI wanted to ask. And then afterwards, either the AI can end the interview on its own terms, or you can end the interview yourself. You can go ahead and you can refresh the page, and you can get a synthesis of all of your interviews, or you can get an individual synthesis as well, alongside a recording playback and the transcript. And yeah, this is the team. It was me, Maxim, who unfortunately has some family things to attend to, and that's Interview Co.
So much. And next up is Expert Interviewer.
All right, hey everyone, we're ExpertVet. So a typical consultant might spend upwards of $1,500 for an hour with an industry expert, only to find about 10 minutes in that expert isn't actually qualified to be there. That's not a rare occurrence. That actually happens in about 1 in 3 expert network calls. So the expert network industry is a $4 billion market, but 71% of experts receive interview invites that don't actually match their expertise, resulting in a significant number of calls that are completely unproductive. On top of that, the best experts are actually deterred from joining because they only get 20% of what the client pays, and they have to sit through multiple redundant screening calls. And then the expert networks themselves are wasting hundreds of hours a month manually writing profiles and running these vetting calls.
So our team brings together over 10 years of experience in consulting across MBB, and is comprised of Divya, Shantanu, who couldn't make it today, and myself, and we're MBA, and I'm a master's data science student. So our solution combines a set of LLM steps. So the first step is you upload your resume. This is where the magic starts. The LLM goes and parses out information about your profile, comes up with a checklist for what types of questions it should ask you based on your role, pre-populates that with what it can already discern from your resume, and then passes on the rest as an interview guide to an AI vetting agent. For this, we use 11 Labs. I'll show you the demo in a sec. And then after this, whatever information is collected during this vetting call is stored in a database, so that when the consultant logs on and puts in their query for whatever they want to learn more about today, we can search our database and match experts accordingly. So here's a quick demo. So it starts by uploading your resume. And while this is loading, this whole process brings down the cost of vetting from a few $100s to about pennies because it's all automated. So as you can see, your profile is generated. You can
Hi, thanks for uploading your resume.
You might see
I'm
some
here to
jumps
conduct
here
a
for
brief
speed,
vetting
but
interview to
the
assess your
complication-
expertise. Let's begin. Tell me about your most recent role and what you worked on.
Hey, so I'm in a hurry, so maybe I can answer one question about each of my roles. But to answer your question, I was most recently leading the international expansion at Sun Mobility.
Got it. Thanks for the context. I'll keep things focused and move quickly through the key topics. Starting with Sun Mobility, when you were leading those strategic partnerships and launching pilots, what specific metrics did you use to measure the success of those initiatives?
Yeah, so for each of the pilot projects, we had a certain target unit economics that we expected
I'm going
our
to skip
pilots
forward
to
at this
achieve.
point.
And
So
we
this
also looked at,
conversation can go on for
yeah,
a little bit. And
the
then when you're ready to
operational
end your
metrics, and
interview,
then we would, in the next stage, focus on revenue.
yeah, so when you're ready to end your interview, the AI agent will then go and summarize all of the insights that it gleaned from your interview, and all of this will get updated into a backend database on the Supabase that will retrieve that information the next time you log in.
And now that the experts are onboarded, a consultant can go in and search for an expert that they want to talk to. In this example, the consultant's looking for someone who has experience evaluating CRM systems. We use a mixture of vector similarity search and LLM reasoning to rank potential profiles, as well as give an example for why someone might be a specific match for you. And then the user can go in and read the profile and then decide if they want to request an interview. Yep, that's ExpertVet. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Tribu AI. Tribu AI. Oh, yeah.
Hey everyone, so we're Tribu AI, and our goal is to make the AI companion that makes sure every clinical trial is fully enrolled and any patient is fully informed. So right now we're trying to transform clinical trial education into simple steps that are easy to digest and easy to understand on the part of the user. The core issue that we're facing right now is a lot of US adults have marginal health literacy, and a lot of consent forms can fail to meet readability levels. So we see this big gap between where healthcare consent or where clinical trial consent forms expect people to be at and where people are actually at. Furthermore, there's a lot of underrepresentation in these clinical trials. The vast majority of people who enroll are Caucasians, and this undermines research generalizability. So we have Tribu AI, which is an AI companion that turns patient questions into signed consent. So the idea is we have an agent that's up 24/7 and can help communicate difficult, hard to understand clinical health jargon into easy digestible terms for the user.
And as we already mentioned, we've also found in research that AI tutoring produces 2 times the learning goals compared to traditional active learning methods. Therefore, for our core goals in our Tribu AI, we decided to first focus on kind of converting this conversational AI into chunking complex concept forms into something more digestible so patients can move more according to their own pace. We also wanted to make it more adaptable to patients' literacy levels, which we'll explain a little bit more in a second. And also we wanted to make it into a pedagogical fit such that documents that are often just given out with no other information can now be a little bit more interactive in a Q&A where patients can make sure they're understanding the information given. We've also made these adjustments by making sure the patient's comprehension level can range from 4th grade level to all the way to college level, making sure that it's fair and accessible to all different types of patients. We also understand patients come from different backgrounds and cultures, making sure that we want to create something that is also understandable for patients that maybe their native language is not only English. And also we understand patients have other needs outside of clinical trials or consent forms, meaning that they might be from working class or parents or anybody that may need to take time off to meet with a clinician. Therefore, this is a 24 asynchronous accessible
And the way we're testing this, we already have a trial here at Stanford Hospital and at UC Irvine that's launching in the second quarter of the year. We're testing our success with the completion rate, quiz pass rates, and percent of representation in those centers. The way that we're charging is there's a fee per patient and per study. So the patients get it for free, and the sponsors of these clinical trials are the ones paying for this product. And why now this is happening is there's a lot more trials and they're trending up with a lot less coordinators. And patients are having now even romantic relationships with LLMs, which made us think like our big leap of faith is we'll be able to interact with this AI avatar in a way that they find it useful. And now there's patient portability, so now we can import patient data from any clinical record across the US and make personalization of the consent and education component that we're giving to the patient. This is some numbers around market opportunity. In general, clinical trial space is $85 billion. And when you think about patient education and recruitment and enrollment services is a $3 billion niche. These are some of the players. Right now, no one is doing actual consent through a voice avatar. There's e-consent and different adapted versions, but no one's actually doing a voice. And so we're in that middle ground where we operate some sort of like between infrastructure, conversational AI, and acquisition channel, because this is the last step in which patients need to actually enroll to the trial. And this is our team. Yeah.
We're having our demo like at our table. You're interested.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And next up is Stickies.
Hi everyone, this is Stickies AI. I'm Shirley.
I'm Aisha.
Before we start, I want to ask a question. Have you ever come across something interesting online, but didn't know how to start learning it? Every day we are exposed to new ideas on TikTok, X, YouTube. You see something interesting and for a moment you think, I should learn more about this. But a few minutes later, it's gone. AI agents, quantum computing, robotics, neuroscience, there's never been more to learn. But the problem isn't access to the information. It's most moments of curiosity never turns into true learning. Even if you do take one more step, you may bookmark it, you may search it online, but it's still hard to keep track of your progress, keep track of what you've learned. So we ask, what if we can make learning easy to start? Stickies AI makes learning easy to start. You simply capture an idea with a single voice input and watch your progress grow over time. Why now? We are entering a new era of interfaces where system doesn't just respond to input, but capture intent. Instead of navigating apps or searching manually, you can simply express what you want, and AI turns that into action instantly. And learning is one of the biggest areas where this hasn't been solved yet. We talked with 3 groups of users. First is curious students who discover topics all the time but don't know where to start. And second is busy professionals who want to learn but don't have time to organize them. And the third is lifelong learners who consume a lot of content but lack structure. Across all of them, we saw the same pattern. People don't lack curiosity. They lack a system to turn that into structured learning. So how would Stickies AI help? We want to capture your curiosity, structure it into learning, and helps you build knowledge over time.
Yeah, so let's demo. So you first log into your app, and we'll show you a guidance of all the features we have. You can add a note, tasks, learning, report. Now let's create our first task. You can use voice input. Say you want to learn
learn natural language processing. It will automatically transcribe into a captured note, and we can turn that into a learning topic. It shows in the learning page, and you can manage your review frequency. It shows as a stack of flip cards. You can click on each review or done to track your progress and mark it as complete in the task pane. You can also input by typing. For example, you want to study SQL tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. It will automatically extract the task and it will show up in the upcoming task. You can also edit your task based on the description, due date, type, and priority. Easy and simple. Finally, we have the rewards page. You can see your insights, heat map, weekly recap, highlights, and all the badges you earned. And that's the end of our code. So how do we build our app? We have this roadmap which has 4 stages. The first one is the foundation. We develop a voice to transcript to structure Stickies pipeline that makes our app immediately useful. The second stage is the automation. We use the auto-generated recall prompts and topic tagging to reduce manual efforts and increase stickiness. The third stage is the behavior. Implement the SM2 spaced repetition and rewards features such as EMAP, weekly report, and milestone to turn the usage into habits. And finally, it's the personalization stage. We already implemented performance insights that will feature our adaptive push timing, but based on our mentor feedback, we plan to integrate the user's calendar into our app's notification system. For example, if you're a student studying CS224G and you have a lecture at 4:30 p.m., our app will push notification at 4:15 p.m. to help you learn some NLP contents that will help you preview your lecture and make your learning easy. So again, our vision is simple. Turn every moment of curiosity into lasting knowledge. And that's all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next team is Stardrop.
Hi everyone, we're Stardrop, and we are an AI studio that helps develop web apps, mobile apps, and hardware companions for small and medium enterprises. So for our team, I'm Nikki, and I'm a master's in management science and engineering. I have built GitHub packages and worked in customer and strategy across a variety of industries. My partner, Ariant, did his CS degree at UC Berkeley, and he has published AI research at top journals and built over 100 AI apps with a daily active user rate of over 10K. I also want to have a special mention for our advisor this quarter, who helped us a lot with our traction, Brian, who is also the CTO at Hey Noah. So the problem right now is more than 1 in 3 multi-medium enterprises offload their development work to offshore development teams, and with a more than $50,000 average cost. However, there is a near 60% dissatisfaction rate, and even worse, there's a 70% delay in delivery, which is essential for these type of businesses because they value efficiency and speed when it comes to scaling. Our solution is all they need to do is they need to describe their app and we'll build it for them. We follow a playbook by Paul Graham in which we do the process manually first to learn which workflows matter, and then we automate the ones that work. In this case, we will be able to develop apps at less cost, less time, and have more communication with our clients and build more robust apps. Without further ado, let's look at some of the projects Stardrop has built. So the first one is Selecta. So Professor John Whaley wanted an applicant reviewer, and we weighed in factors like academic background, industry experience, and curated the context to the specific event. As you can see here. And the second one is a travel website we built that helps you create customized itineraries depending on where you want to go, and it has a company map. And the last app we wanted to show was this posture device. So this actually has a physical component. It's an actual like hardware device, and this is the companion app. As you can see over here, there are different features in the app. You can simulate hits with a little avatar. You can complete tasks for treats, which you can then also feed. And you can also view your posture and this trends over here. The reason people really liked our app over here was because we followed mood boards and style tiles, which is a process that professional designers actually use. And our business model right now is we have different pricing tiers for the type of product we are intending on delivering. And the key takeaway is we are able to develop apps for them, for these enterprises, 10 to 50 times cheaper than if they were to offload this process to an offshore developer. And so far, we've gained a lot of traction over the course of this quarter. We gained more than $16,000 in revenue, and we have deployed over 40 apps. And yeah, so we're actually fundraising right now, and we are asking for a seed amount grant of 1.5 million, which we will allocate to engineering, customer acquisition, operations, and the runway. So this Stardrop, it will replace offshore developed teams and build better apps for small and medium enterprises. Please find us after the poster session to interact with more of our apps and maybe make a request of your own. Thank you.
RootScout.
Hi everyone. How many of you have heard about the recent outage that happened at Amazon because of Kiro, their AI coding agent? Exactly. With AI writing more and more code, I can only imagine how intense their on-calls are becoming. Hence, we have built RootScout, an AI on-call agent that diagnoses production incidents automatically. My name is Meghna Vasudeva, and prior to Stanford, I was working as a senior software engineer at Microsoft.
Hi everyone, I'm Astha, and prior to Stanford CS224G, I was a software engineer at Google.
Hi, my name is Jannink. I'm a first-year MS student at Stanford on AI track, and previously I studied CSI for now.
When a production incident fires, engineers spend hours manually sifting through logs, traces, code changes, trying to figure out what in the pipeline broke exactly. At RootScout, we are building an autonomous AI SRE that takes all of these inputs and in seconds, it gives you a Slack notification with what all issues are there.
Even with a conservative estimate of 100K, it comes at $15,000 per year. We're at a $1.5 billion market. We conducted market research and summarized our findings in a word cloud. The most common themes were switching time spent on switching contacts and correlating logs and dashboards. And more than 25% of our respondents reported that they spend more than 30 minutes per incident. And our RootScout automates this process. First, an alert fires, and then RootScout injects telemetry data such as logs and metrics, and then it builds a dependency graph to understand how services interact and where failures might be propagating. Then it samples a context packet, which includes recent code changes and telemetry data. And the LLM reasons over this context. And lastly, RootScout sends a notification into the Slack channel, which includes the root cause and recommended actions to take.
Hi, let us look at the demo. It's 3 a.m. and checkout is down. Suddenly, an alert fires. 15% of requests are failing. RootScout starts investigating. RootScout looks at the traces, logs, error rates, and maps the 12 services, out of which 11 seem to be red. Everything looks broken. So, it walks the call graph from the front-end node. Most services show memory pressure. Then, it hits cart service, where it sees a stack trace. An overflow exception in the Redis cart store. RootScout pulls the source file from GitHub and reads the exact line that failed. Now, it has everything. The graph, the anomalies, the stack trace, the source code, and it sends this to the model. A few seconds later, it now has an answer. The alert fired on cart service, but the root cause is product catalog service, a workload spike 20 minutes earlier that cascaded through the whole system. Cart service was downstream. RootScout found where it actually started and posted the root cause and fix back to Slack. Thank you. Hi. For evals, we looked at two metrics. The first one was component match. Essentially, RootScout is able to identify the faulty component or not. And the other was RCA, root cause analysis, cosine similarity, where we took the dot product of the expected and actual root cause. The first data set we looked at was OpenRCA, Microsoft's data set, where they had injected faults in a banking app service. Although it emulated real-life production issues really well, but it did not have the code base. Hence, RootScout fared poorly on both these metrics, whereas RCA evals had the telemetry as well as code base, and hence had a better score on metrics. Synthetic data was great on these metrics. Thank you, Cloud Code, but it definitely showed some sycophancy because those were really easy to identify even for a human.
In the end, we would like to thank our professors John and Yan, our mentor Roy, and our TAs Andrea Ahmed. And this has been a great experience. In the end, if you would like to try our product out, here is our GitHub repo, and you can check our website out as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Has everyone downloaded the QR code? Let's start with Meta OS.
Change.
Not a Microsoft Office person. Hi everyone. I do see a little bit of tiredness. It's the evening. Quick show of hands. I think everybody here is a founder. How many of you are able to get your agents to actually work? Okay, I like that. So here we are. We call ourselves standard operating procedure generation. It's a complex name, but we're trying to be the missing context layer for AI. Can we automate the workplace signals, be it context in terms of Slack conversations, be it in terms of meeting transcripts or just your screen? Can we convert them into eval benchmarks as well as agents that can actually do the work?
I think really to start off, we need to understand that 95% of enterprise AI pilots fail, right? Because AI has no context. We can try prompting them, we can try adding different types of optimization techniques, but it is failing. And that's why there's been statistics that most people prefer humans for mission critical. And really, in that case, our sort of idea is that we want to capture work, generate SOPs, and automate high ROI work.
It's perfect. Thanks, Vidar. It's going to be one pipeline where we're able to capture via a macOS app, as well as understand or import your Slack workflows, and just figure out where are the biggest ROI workflows for automation and give it to the agents. And again, our output is also a rigorous eval layer so that it works. I think let's just move forward.
So yeah, I think we want to sort of introduce ourselves, who's the team. We start off with Bonnie. She's an expert, sort of a senior software engineer, formerly at Salesforce AI Research. She thinks in product and delivers in research.
And here's Vidar. He was at Apple. To be very honest, we're just two kids who are trying to solve this product. Our goal is to get towards agentic enterprises and help you become one of them. So it's a big market. If this is a pain point that everybody is facing, I think that's evidence enough for how big the market is here. This is like very conservative estimates we did. But let's just talk about the hard questions. The hard questions are, is this a reliable output that's generated? There are a lot of AI agents that are going around, but which one of them will solve your custom problem for the enterprise? And how good is this particular agent that this company is selling to me? How do you make that choice? How do you figure out what are the most interspersed workflows that can be automated? That's what we're trying to answer here. So we'll just move on to the demo.
Sure, yeah.
Should have one. But in the meanwhile, I think as Vidar is opening this, we just wanted to talk about this is just one component of what we're trying to do. It's a web app wherein you can import a lot of context, connect your different apps to provide the context. But we're also having another app that can see you, understand how you're doing work, and just by observing you for 5 to 7 days, it's able to get that context and merge that into this context layer and figure out how can we automate that. It becomes richer.
Thank you so much. I think for that, I think now we can show some, some snippets of our work in progress and product that we're excited to present. We show over here, we turn conversations into autonomous agent teams, right? In case of Slack thread, drop a meeting transcript, feed in a SOP. We see over here, and I think Bonnie can sort of elaborate on this, where we're able to sort of copy-paste different Slack threads, different conversations, and build context scrubs based on that.
No, this is just conversation. The same conversation can be captured via a screen recorder to understand what's going on in your meeting and capture that. Now, again, there are different components to what we're trying to build. One part of it is, can we make a context graph of what's the actual work and what is just fluff in the conversation? The second part is screen recording, like we talked about. The next part is the multi-agent orchestration. Can we generate or create a multi-agent workflow around this? But we also want you to bring your own multi-agent workflows that test on the same standard. We want to become the standard for it. And I think the custom eval benchmark generated, which will be based on your context. So if you're interested, I'm so sorry for opening somebody else's thing. Our ask for you is, this is a huge mission which we're trying to get to. We're nowhere close. we have done some benchmark testings, but we would love to onboard you as a design partner. If you're interested, please reach out to either of us. Our email IDs are bani@stanford.edu and widow.stanford. Thank you.
Much. And next up is Artemis.
So, hello everyone. My name is Tenet. I'm a security researcher. I just started my master here in the computer science security track.
And I'm Thomason. And before entering Stanford, I have 3 years of security research experience and working at SOC for more than 2 years.
Yes. So we are Team Artemis, an AI copilot for security operations.
And here's the problem. We spent weeks interviewing security practitioners at Stanford Engineering and University of Wisconsin-Madison, and we figured out that the pain point is consistent, that the SOC team drowns in alerts. On typical organization, they receive around 4,000 alerts per day, and they only have 2 to 10 SOC operation analysts that could analyze of it, which means that they cannot afford the time to analyze every security alerts. And according to the industry survey, 83% of them are false positives. But unfortunately, security flaws are buried underneath.
So Artemis solves the problem using an end-to-end LLM-powered pipeline. So first, they ingest the alert input and normalize them into standard format. Then it correlates them to find all the alerts related to each other and bundle them together, and then investigate on them as a whole. So after that, it produces a human readable and reproducible report. And everything here is read-only by default, human verify always, no black boxes.
Under the hood, here's the 5-stage pipeline that being verified in the industry that the expert analysts would do. So first, we will normalize every alert from different resources. It can be network, it can be endpoint alerts. And then we retrieve all the information from all other resources, this including some spreadsheet and also human readable traces. And then LLM comes in, they will start investigate and run OS query on live to the target machines. And then LLM will also validate the results to make sure that every result is backed by the evidence. And finally, it will generate human readable report that allow human analysts to work on this and verify this.
What makes Artemis really different is this AI guided terminal. So it's basically a Linux terminal, but with AI agents in it that sees everything. So with our platform, you can SSH into any host that's managed by our platform and then perform any action there and can ask the AI agent for live help. And at the same time, the AI agent will be taking notes. So everything you see, every command, every output will end up in the final report.
And this is not just a prototype. Artemis are currently being deployed on live in the production that can handle over 2,000 alerts per day. And there's no synthetic. They are all real data running on our system. We work with 2 practitioner partners who validate both our problem and our approaches. We have achieved 98.5% of accuracy, and we are able to have 81.2 noise reduction on all the alerts. As Bridget mentioned, that your time should be spent on complex problems and not just the noise.
So our targeted market are actually the small teams and small businesses who cannot afford a dedicated SOC team. And also we're an open source project under a GPL license so that anybody can just grab it and secure their system with it. But we also provide like the SaaS deployment as a part of our like way to profit out of it. So here is a short demo. We start by ingesting telemetry, and then we bundle all the telemetries together to have a human readable alert output. So here are all the alerts organized by the agents. You can see it includes the detailed information about the network and all the traces, the alert title. And with these, the agent is able to produce some hypotheses for the potential cost of these alerts, as well as the entities involved in these incidents. And also the full agent reasoning was available, so that if you want to read more text, it's there. So here is our nice terminal. You can just type command there. It works like a regular terminal. But what made it different is this AI agent who will just look at the terminal and help you to interpret the output. And at the same time, you can ask it various questions. For example, generate comments for you, and you can execute it manually. So if you want to learn more, please visit our website at artemis.a7ms.com. And our GitHub is also open source.
Thank you so much. And next team is Sapiens.
We are Sapiens. I'm Eliza.
I'm Brooke.
I'm Ben.
And we are all engineers in the edtech space. Who is best at using AI? The people who have grown up constantly having to relearn how to use technology. 86% of students are comfortable with using AI, but only 14% of teachers are comfortable with it. This creates a huge imbalance in schools, where schools are unable to respond to students who are just getting answers from something like ChatGPT, not going through a learning process, and the schools don't know how to respond. And that is then combated with how they are already understaffed. There's a teaching shortage, which means that students are also not getting the individualized attention that they need or immediate feedback. The tools that exist right now don't work. Things like ChatGPT give you an answer without you having to do any of the learning process or employing critical thinking skills. Current edtech tools like tutors aren't using course materials that are unaligned with the school where the student is actively learning and are not overseen by teachers. As well, there are over 3,000 edtech tools that the average school district is using. So teachers are overwhelmed by the amount of systems they're being expected to use. We think that it is better to use one system that is comprehensive.
So why now? So AI is everywhere, and models recently become very powerful, as seen with how successful Claude Code is. And also schools are kind of reacting the wrong way right now, and they also are adopting this AI technology that's definitely the future. So that puts us in a very interesting position where AI is both very useful and not really being used by the market. How our system works is that teachers upload lesson materials, chapters, textbooks, worksheets, all of their information. But then the AI creates content for them, so it creates all of like the problems the students need, and it creates more than like a process to make themselves. And the students learn from these problems in a homework system with step-by-step guidance, immediate feedback, and that kind of stuff. And so that creates a really good feedback loop where students get real-time insights in their learning, their reasoning, and not just their final answers. And so our main values are teacher autonomy. We want teachers to be able to control what they're teaching and what their content is. We also want to focus on process over product so that students get to have their learn about their thinking process and their critical thinking skills over just like what their final answer is and whether or not they're right or wrong. So it's more of a learning process rather than you're right, you're wrong. But we also want to have pedagogical integrity. So we want to base our system based off current education research. We can enable ourselves to implement that research using AI tools.
Okay, moving on to the demo. This first is our teacher platform. Sorry about that. Wait, this first is our teacher platform. We are going through the course upload feature right now. So a teacher can create any course they want. They can name it anything they want, like Taylor Swift history, set a grade level, and then choose the type of subject that they're creating. They can assign students to the course, and then they can upload whatever materials they want. So this ability really emphasizes our value of teacher autonomy, as the teachers are able to create whatever content they would like. They can upload any content they like for their units and arrange units in any way they want to. And then we generate learning objectives that the teacher can then choose from to determine what they actually want their students prioritizing. From the teacher end, there's also the ability to look at feedback that our AI tutor gives. Additionally, the teachers can give direct feedback to their students as well. This is an entire homework system that we're creating, not just another ed tech tool. From the student side, it's a bit more complicated. We have our courses, and then you can go into the courses. You can see a bunch of stuff on your dashboard, but here's where the meat of our product lies. We have different types of questions, knowledge, and skills, and we've thought a lot about the pedagogy of how to actually teach things without immediately giving away the answer. We allow students to ask questions, be curious, and arrive at the content we want them to arrive at in a really meaningful way. So I just completed a knowledge question, and then I can go to skills. Critically here, we have a walkthrough option, which is just a conversation between the AI tutor and the student, really allowing them to explore the content and emphasizing our value of product or process over product. Finally, we also have a capstone at the very end. This is really emphasizing personalized learning and pedagogy. It takes all the information of how the student has performed on the previous units and then allows them to teach the concept or teach a concept that's chosen for them to one of their peers. And that's really based in the research that we've done about pedagogy. Thank you so much for listening. And if you want to help shape the future of education, come chat with us.
Thank you so much. And next up is Team Rex.
Hi everyone, we are Rex and we are building the insurance and continuous underwriting for all the agents deployed in production. So as in any major technological shift happening in the car, happening with the internet, and it's happening now with agents, you need this security and insurance layer for enabling the massive deployment of this to production. In any conversation we have been seeing between agent providers and enterprises, there's this question of who's going to pay if the agents fails, who's going to pay if this goes wrong. We have already seen things going wrong with Chipotle, with McKinsey, with Whaley, with Air Canada, and we want to build this continuous underwriting and this insurance to prevent and to enable the massive deployment. The market is going to be huge. Right now, the projection for the market of agents is the 50 billion, but these 50 billions are not going to appear without this insurance and security layer. So we're predicting and taking cybersecurity as an insurance as a proxy that the market is going to be 10 billion by 2030. And right now, the solutions or the use cases we are focusing on are growing from our design partners. The main one is the agentic payment. There's a lot of agents that are going to do some purchases online, and they can fail. They can purchase the wrong item. They can expend more of the allocated budget. Then there are also these front office agent providers in which they have access to data and they can have some data leakage, or even they have access to IP. And there are other of our design partners that we will later speak about are in the supply chain and the logistics world, and there's some other risk that are preventing their agents to take more action in their use cases.
So as Jesus mentioned, we're establishing ourselves as the trust layer in deploying AI. So for that, I think it's easiest to understand our solution separated into two different components. The first is the safety component, where we underwrite, understand AI risk, and the second component is then using that data to create the insurance product. If you own the data, our thesis is that you eventually own the market. So in terms of the product, so the first thing we do is we go in and we spend 3-4 weeks doing a first-time audit, where we take a deep dive into their solution, into their system, and we carry out the adversarial testing. If it meets our safety standards and their system is robust, then we give them a certificate, a report, which they can then show to clients in order to enable sales and create trust. This is a framework that we're developing hand in hand with the Stanford Center for AI Safety. And so that's the first component. And the second component is the insurance product, where we use the data and we're embedded into their CI/CD pipeline in order to ensure that the safety standards are met continuously. So it's real time, both for the certificate as well as for the policy. And the risk we're covering for now are hallucinations, data leakage, action errors, SLA failure. So what all of these have in common is that they're non-systemic, auditable, and insurable at the end of the day. So a little bit on the team. So I did my undergrad and my master's here in math and computer science at Stanford. I have experience deploying technical solutions across Europe, the US, and Africa. So I'll be helping Christian. So going a bit out of order there at the end. So he's our fourth co-founder. He has eight years of experience as a CTO. He's started 2 companies. The first he co-founded with Andrew and G and grew it to 300 employees. And he's leaving his second company to join Rex in building this product.
Then there's me, who has some experience on the business side in consulting, banking, and also as the go-to-market part of a Web3 startup. And there's this Daniel, who is our pricing genius. As you can see, we are 4 Spanish engineers, and he's one of the fewest traders at Citadel, a Spanish trader at Citadel. So we believe like this is the right team to build the actual underwriting solution. In terms of the competitive landscape, there are not a lot of competitors, maybe 3, 4, and some big name as Munich Re. We believe that we have our edge in this mode of embedding in the systems. As Luis was talking, when we embed there, we can get all the historical data, historical risk label data, then in 3, 5 years time is gonna be the need to make the proper underwriting for all the AA liability. And then after speaking with some clients, we are seeing that we need to be somehow with this subject expertise to be able to meet their custom SLA's liabilities. Not some generic insurance, but something super specific to their use cases. Talking about these clients, we have like 3 to 4 design partners. Our main one is Stickies AI, and we're starting with other strategic ones when it comes to the use case, the payments one and the logistic ones. There's some other people that have reached out to us, but we don't have enough bandwidth right now to serve them, so we'll treat them as their first clients.
And then on the insurance side, we're positioned to be the AI liability underwriting arm of Aon, which is one of the 2 big global insurance brokers, and they're the ones who are also putting us in front of insurance companies like Munich Re or Lloyd's. And yeah, just to wrap up, the opportunity window is now. This is something the market needs now. It's been made very clear to us by agent providers, insurance companies, and yeah, we want to become embedded in the system to unlock that data and own the historical data in the long term, and come in as the leaders in certification and insurance for AI liability.
And if you want to reach out to us, Christian and Daniel will be there in the class to answer any of your questions. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
And next up is CareerHQ. Okay, so maybe we're gonna do Team Glyde. Okay.
Glide.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm Felipe, this is Akash, and we're co-founding Glyde. So we'll start with the question is, how many apps do you use to manage your life? And we think that it is probably a lot of them.
Yeah, so like Outlook, Reminders, Excel, Notion, GCal, Obsidian, Todoist. Like I could keep listing apps, but I ran out of space. But we're sure that everyone in here has to juggle at the very least like 2 to 3 apps to manage their lives, copying info from one to another constantly. And this is a problem. We're being handed better and better tools and more of them, but the cognitive load of coordinating everything falls on you, the user. So like GCal doesn't know your goals, Notion doesn't know what's urgent, only that you spent 3 hours making your page look pretty. This is the world we're living in, and that's why we built Glyde.
Productivity tools are being built to accomplish specific tasks, but we don't think that they're being built around the person accomplishing those tasks. It's not really being made for the person. They're reactive. The tools wait for you to message them, and then the tools respond to you based on what you told them, but they're not really pushing you forward. They're context blind. They don't have the full picture. They don't know if you had a doctor's appointment yesterday or a flight tomorrow, or if you're even in the right country, and they're fragmented. So the average person is spending most of their work time going between a bunch of different apps and having to coordinate the information between those apps. And so we find this is like a huge problem. And so we built Glyde, which is a system that is designed around knowing you personally.
Yeah, we really want to emphasize that we haven't built a calendar app with AI features. We haven't built a to-do list that can parse natural language. We've built an AI native life operating system. So from day one, the entire architecture, from the database, the agent orchestration, it was all built around the assumption that the agent is the primary interface. So everything you do in Glyde also lives just in one place, organized and color-coded around the areas of your life that actually matter, which we call aspects. And at the center of it are agents that know your history, understand all the context about your life, and can manipulate all facets of the platform.
Makes us different is that our platform will really know you and knows what you did yesterday and knows what you're doing tomorrow. It knows where you are and where you need to be. And importantly, it knows why you need to do those things. And that's what lets us be proactive and have agents that are analyzing what your life looks like now, what your goals are, and suggest concrete steps to achieve your goals before you even ask, so that you don't forget about them and not accomplish them. We have a demo video.
Yeah, so the premise of this demo is basically I've scheduled some classes in Encores prospectively for spring quarter. I went ahead and took a screenshot of those, and now I'm going to upload it into our platform. We have a direct file and image upload option. I'm going to tell the agent, here are my classes for next quarter. They start March 30th and end June 30th. Schedule those for me. So that's going to start working. As you can see in the meantime, a few interactions have already popped up on the left side. Those are proactive suggestions from the interaction agent. So I'm accepting and dismissing a few of those. And in the meantime, the calendar has been filled out, perfectly color-coded according to those classes. You can see in the chat, also notice that a couple of those are at the same time. Just maybe a backup or section change. If we go to the aspects tab, we can see that all of those have been auto-created for the new classes. And now every task, goal, event, note related to those will live aspects.
Sorry. And then here we have a quick screen cap of our rating system. Our system will make concrete metrics that it will pull the user on so that it can track your feeling on how it's doing, helping you accomplish your goals and how your life is doing in general. And then a screen cap of our profile section and our connection section where Akash has his Outlook and his Google hooked up, and a chart that shows how much of your life is dedicated to aspects. And we have 7 current active users. We mostly distributed to our very close friends, and 7 of them had stayed on it and are working and are using it consistently. And they have a 55% interaction rate, which is a metric that we track to see how useful our suggestions are based on how many people accept them. And we have around 1 million tokens processed, and our most active users have around 200 events being managed.
Yeah. So lastly, let's talk about the market. The market we're competing in is about $8.8 billion more total addressable market today, growing at about 27% a year, projected to hit $36 billion by 2030. More broadly, Goldman Sachs has projected the software market with $780 billion by 2030 as agentic softwares take up about 60% of that. And we think that life management is really one of the clearest applications of that field, and the validation is already in. So, we're students who have been building the platform that we actually want to use. We're about to launch our beta. So if you want early access, or just come find us after.
So much. And now CareerHQ. Hi, we're CareerHQ, and we help you go from career confusion to career clarity in minutes.
There are a lucky few people in the world who know exactly what they want to do in their career when they graduate, but for most of us, I think that's not true. I remember as an undergrad, when I was in my final year, all I knew was that I did not want to be a front-end developer, but I had no idea what I wanted. And as like any other person in that time, I would go to Google because GPT did not exist, and I would try to find advice. But all I heard was overwhelming noise. I would go to job platforms and they would have a million listings, but it didn't really give me any guidance. I thought about using a human career coach, but then found out they were super expensive. They're like over $200 an hour, and it's also super hard to find a good coach. And lastly, none of the advice was personalized. I ended up following the herd and wasted 3 years in an industry that I didn't even like. We want to do better. Our solution helps you go from confusion to a clear career roadmap based on your skill set and your preferences. It starts with intaking your resume. So it deeply understands your skills and your experience. And then we ask the user for certain career preferences. So for example, what are your non-negotiables? What sort of things interest you? And then we find the best fit careers for this user profile. And lastly, we give you a very clear, actionable roadmap with exactly what skills to build, how to build them, and then what resources or people to reach out to. We primarily looking to serve either people who are switching their careers or people who are just starting out, for example, fresh grads. What we built, I already covered it. We build a very particular career profile for you. We pass your resume and extract insights. We're able to use our own algorithm to recommend certain best fit careers for you, and we give you an actionable roadmap. You must be thinking, why not just use GPT? First of all, there are some similarities between what we offer and between GPT, but we use a government-verified database to actually give you the career recommendations. We also quantify the scores, so we don't just give you general advice. We're able to let you compare the best career recommendations against each other. And also our platform will remember you across multiple sessions, unlike GPT.
Yeah, so I'll now bore you through with the system architecture, and given the time constraint, directly jump to the demo. So this is a simple chat user interface. It's being optimized for mobile phone, which is why you're seeing a very horizontal view. The process starts with the user uploading a resume. And then once the resume is uploaded, it takes about 30 seconds to a minute to analyze the resume. It actually breaks down your resume into hundreds of different attributes, work values, preferences that are configured by the government. And then what that entails is that we can also match these attributes to the long-term trend of the entire United States population. And we can also show that the occupation we're matching, how the salaries, how the trends are changing across the industry. So you can see this is my resume from 6 years ago. It trying to break down what are my top values, top skills, top working styles. And if there's any specific questions, you can also essentially ask, right? What is oral comprehension or critical thinking? What are the examples of that? And this is how we're doing the backend evaluations. And then after this sort of initial process, we also allow users to actually provide a little bit more feedback by answering a set of questions that we have developed based on prior research to help people narrow down their career inspirations and career identity. So these are the list of questions. That is just simple multiple choice. So once the user provides the second round of feedback, we'll actually generate the top 3 career preferences. And as you can see, in this case, apparently I'm a super interesting financial quantitative analyst. So I want to know more about how can I actually go from where I'm currently at to pursue an occupation like that. So then I'm going to click on the generate roadmap option. So the roadmap generation is to actually create a roadmap that systematically analyzes your current skill, what is the gap, and then trying to produce a list of curated resources. We will reach that gap, and then it also goes from skills to eventually the networking resources established. So go from establish your foundations, sort of then building the necessary knowledge, and then to later how to reach out to people and who to reach out to people. So essentially it serves as a one-stop shop of currently at to the career where I want to go. Some of the stuff we learned, the data modeling is the core. The fact that we can actually connect this sort of government database of attribute means that the subsequent connections is super consequential, right? We can know what are the industry trends and what are the populations, what skills are in demand, what skills are not in demand. And some are still working on improving the core intelligence, and I'm also running some tests. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now assemble AI.
Show of hands, how many of you has hosted an event before? Keep your hand up. It was easy to find the right people to show up. Yeah, that's the hard part. I'm sure everyone here has attended an event before. And if this is your first one, welcome. You picked a good one. For most people, networking is a huge reason for showing up. But look around you for a second. Do you know who you should talk to? Who is actually relevant to you? Probably not. Because the tool you use to register gives you zero context. You show up, do some random talks, and hope for the best. Events are about people, but as we've just seen, hosts struggle to create a room and attendees don't know how to navigate it. So we built Assemble AI to make hosting effective by identifying and screening the most relevant candidates for a host. And for attendees, we make networking intentional by matching it with the right people and turning one-off events into lasting connections. Now let's see how it works in practice. So the hosts start by creating an event by inputting the basic logistics, and then we'll turn your event description into more fun, polished description to attract more RSVPs. You can also input questions you want to ask. And now this is the most important part. Assemble AI allows you to identify your ideal candidate mix, and we'll leverage it to generate review criteria for target marketing and RSVP screenings. You can further tune these badges and provide special requests. Now that you have created an event, you may wonder, who should I invite? Instead of blasting your link across social medias, we identify individuals and communities you should reach out to based on your event description and review criteria, and allow a one-click personalized email send. The same feature applies for communities like Basis as well. Now remember the criteria that you just inputted when you create an event. We use it to screen RSVP for you so that you don't have to go through hundreds of LinkedIn links. We use the enriched user profile, where we provide a summary of their experience based on their LinkedIn, resume, and also an AI assessment showing why we accept, waitlist, or decline that person. You can further filter by the badges you created. Now let's see how we help the users find the right match. We scrape your resume, LinkedIn to get basic information and ask about your academic interests, skills, and hobbies. Then we also ask who you're here for to get your goals. When you enter Assemble, we match you based on your profile to 3 most people, and then create a short blurb, and you can click into their profile to see what events you've been to together. If it's a good match, you can send them a DM and keep the conversation going. You can also enter a longer request to further your search. And within an event, we also match you with people, including a more detailed match wrap, including why you were matched and some initial talking points. If you have a specific request, such as finding a co-founder, you can further send them a friend request and keep the conversation going.
Yeah, so taking a look at our business model, we plan to monetize by improving the quality of events. So for hosts, this means better attendee targeting and overall selecting the kind of group that you want. And for attendees, this means increased matches and tailored introductions so that interactions become meaningful and successful. For both hosts and attendees, we also plan to use a tiered subscription model for these enhanced features. And in the future, we see ourselves expanding through event fees, community subscription plans, and venue booking systems as well.
Our team combines strengths in AI dialogue, product design, and business insight. We also bring hands-on industrial experience from companies including ByteDance, Capital One, and AWS, giving us a strong blend of technical depth, business understanding, and real-world execution.
Now looking at our progress so far, we're at the early stages of development, but we're learning, building, and moving quickly. So far, we've conducted over 50 user interviews with both hosts and attendees to see what makes events work. And additionally, we've launched our platform, so it's officially live. And up next, we're going to be collaborating with Luma Superhosts to test an initial pilot with 2 beta events to see just how Assemble AI makes events meaningful.
So today we are seeking $2 million in pre-seed funding to help assemble AI go from a stronger early product to a scalable business. And over the next 4 quarters, we will use this capital to improve product, bring on early users, and improve the real engagement through pilots, and then turn early wins into repeat usage and stronger distribution, then scale toward retention and recurring revenue. And we see this as a large and growing market. I believe this round gives us a chance to build a real platform that can change how people run events and connect through them. So right now, let's just assemble. By the way, everyone can just get the QR code here, and we prepare a surprise matching for everyone in the room today. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. And now team Tenet.
Hello, we are Team Tenet, and we are building an AI research platform helping users make better decisions on prediction markets like Polymarket and Kalshi. I'm Dylan. I'm a Simsys major, a junior at Stanford.
I'm Merv, a Simsys major and a city co-term.
Jack, senior, studying computer science, so co-term computer science.
And Akil couldn't join us, unfortunately, but he's an EE major, class of 2028. Kalshi and Polymarket are exploding right now. Everyone knows this. But 70% of Polymarket traders lose money, and the top 0.04% capture the most profits. Likely people who have like high-level tactics or insider traders. There are a lot of people who think that there's edge on these markets, but the markets are designed for gambling, and we want to give them a platform to do better research, to get better information.
Yeah, so the problem currently is that people don't have confidence placing these bets because the contract information are not super clear. They don't have a tool to reason their thought process. They have no way to track their strengths and weaknesses and improve them. And the current platforms, prices are shown, but the reasoning is hidden, and users keep repeating mistakes because the systems are not designed for them to improve. And also no personalization and intelligent surfacing of markets, and no cross-platform visibility of all the platforms over there to be able to compare the same markets over different platforms. So our solution is Tenet, and we have a video. We want to show you.
Welcome to Tenet, an AI-powered platform that provides analysis of prediction markets. Welcome to Tenet, an AI-powered platform that provides analysis of prediction markets to help users predict smarter. Tenet pulls from various prediction market platforms, including Polymarket, Kalshi, and Manifold. Let's look at a market and see how the AI-powered analysis can help us. Wondering what key factors are impacting a market? Tenet provides AI-powered real-world and fact-based arguments on why a market might resolve yes or no. With the contract summary, you no longer need to get caught up in the fine print to ensure you fully understand the rules before you predict. The news feature allows you to easily access the most relevant information that is impacting a market. Unlock deeper insights by adding this article to the Tenet AI chatbot. Use Tenet to clarify complex details and uncover the facts you need for smarter predictions. With claim check mode, you can perform an in-depth analysis of your own reasoning to ensure that your predictions are built on data and facts, and not assumptions and personal bias. Tenet also equips you with a suite of tools to identify and exploit mispriced markets. The arbitrage tool scans similar markets across different platforms to pinpoint pricing inefficiencies. The momentum tool surfaces high volatility, hype-driven markets that have had significant movement over the past 24 hours. Once you've made your move, add your trades to track record, an analytics layer designed to sharpen your edge. Analyze your performance across categories, platforms, and monitor your Breer score to see exactly how much you're outperforming. Tenet allows you to take your insights along with real-world data to help you predict smarter.
So just to go through some of our core features, one of them is the AI chatbot. There's 3 things that makes this different than regular ChatGPT. We've engineered it so it's not sycophantic, so it'll be like argumentative with you. You can directly input the news sources that you're researching on our platform into it. And also there's a claim check feature where you can verify and give you a score for how likely a claim is to be true or false.
Yeah, also, as we showed in the video, you can put your traits here and we'll analyze your performance for you and we'll track your strengths and weaknesses and give you suggestions on how to improve and give you your profits, losses, and your accuracy score.
And then in terms of specifically your momentum, right, being able to determine which markets have had massive volume changes over the last 24 hours, try to steelman why that might be, and then arbitrage, giving users the opportunity to see how different trades are executed across different platforms. Will signals, another big feature we developed, which gives users insights into how sharps are trading, right? Which is another way of saying how are people with insight information trading, which can be identified, one, by who is putting down the largest amount of money, and then also has this account recently been activated. We use those insights along with some other insights we had to create a bot that's really, really good at determining when a sharp is betting on a specific trade and then how they're betting. For future plans, we want to keep improving chatbot. It's been a pretty high alpha feature for us, specifically with the users we tested the platform with, and then also more personalized user recommendations for which markets people should be trading. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And next up is Smart Feed.
Hi, we're Farfy. So we're going to introduce our team first. I'm Louise. I'm a senior, major in math, psychology, and computer science.
I'm Zoran, also a student and science engineering.
Hi, I'm Jasmine, and I'm a senior studying computer science.
Hi, I'm Lucia. I'm a senior in computer science.
As a senior, I kept hearing questions from younger peers about how to find research, what clubs worth joining, summer programs, internships, etc. Even though I'm used to Stanford life, I still got lost in all the events buried in tons of emails and have the fear of missing out. Really, I'll see an event I'm genuinely excited about, I flag it in my inbox, but then I forgot to RSVP. 2 days later, it's full or realize I already have it. At Stanford, events are everywhere. Information is also everywhere. We find answers by asking around or sitting through hourly low info sessions, but probably only 5 minutes matter. But why? Because Stanford info is fragmented across multiple apps and the best advice is locked in people's minds, not searchable online and not even accessible through the strongest AI with a barrier of insider knowledge. So now here comes Farm Feed, combining social feeds, AI Copilot, and events tracking systems for Stanford. You get personalized feeds matched to what community you belong to, and you can view all the upcoming events and manage your interests there. For club leaders, you can invite everyone in your mailing list to join directly, and there you can manage the community by sending out messages, polls, or post announcements. Our AI Copilot will also answer your questions with relevant posts for your references. And now my teammate will introduce the Ask AI feature and also the events tracking system.
Yeah, so on top of the community data layer, we built our community rec system. So when a user asks a question, we just authenticate it with the super-based JWT and also enforce the access control before the retrieval. We then invite the query, retrieve only the permitted community content from the PD vector and generate the citation from the answers. This just ensures the responses are traceable, access-aware, and rooted in the real community activities.
Yeah, and moving on to our event feature, this is where communities are able to post events with event details such as the time, location, and a brief description about what the event is about. And this makes it simple for students to quickly understand what the event is about. Each event is also personalized to the student. It shows a percentage match based on their interests and the communities that they are a part of. This helps them discover the events that are most relevant to without having to search for them. Students are also able to RSVP or mark interest in an event, and this is very helpful to the community event organizers because it helps them gauge interest and attendance early on. And lastly, to make browsing even easier, events can be filtered by the time frame, like events happening today, next week, or just overall upcoming, so they can quickly find an event that fits their schedule.
Yeah, and we already launched our app via test flight, and we got 30 test users. From our user testing, we saw very strong validation around the core value of FarmFeed. Users consistently described it as more useful than platforms like Fizz, especially because it surfaces events, career opportunities, and meaningful campus information. Features like the feed, events, and RSVP flow performed very well, and the AI with references stood out as a unique differentiator. That said, we identified key friction points. Users struggled with discovering communities, understanding the differences between the feed and events feed, and interpreting personal versus group posts. We also saw that the AI relevance depends heavily on the content quality and recency. So overall, this points to a clear opportunity to double down on event and organization content, improve discoverability and search, as well as define a strong product direction to guide the experience. Thank you, everyone, and please scan this to test our app.
Thank you so much. And next team is MoshiMoshi.
My friends.
Okay, so imagine you finally made it to Japan. Well, you probably want the experience you have seen in film and anime, you know, the counter, the knife, the very nice omakase experience, right? So you naturally pull out the phone trying to book a seat. But you only find out the restaurant you want to dine usually don't have online reservation options, unlimited English instruction, and they only have a Japanese phone number, which pushing you to make a Japanese phone call that you probably are not equipped to have, right? You think booking a seat shouldn't be this hard, but actually, there are 6,000 omakase restaurants in Tokyo and Kyoto alone, and more than half of them only accept phone reservation. 90% of the time, it's the owner or the head of chef who answers the phone, which probably don't speak English. So you think maybe walking, but walking just not accepted in omakase. Actually, this is a structural market failure. There are only less than 11% of foreigners visit Japan attempt to make a phone reservation for omakase. And people have started kind of concierge business to help make reservation to other people that price starting from 25% up to $200 per person, while traditional omakase restaurants are losing seats. So we built a Japanese reservation kind of call mediator, an AI-powered voice mediator that plays reservation call in Japanese on your behalf. So how it works.
So for our app, MoshiMoshi, when a user submits a reservation in English through our app, we then trigger a 11 Labs voice agent, which makes the outbound call via Twilio to the restaurant in Japan. During the call, the agent will handle the full conversation in Japanese, asking for availability, confirming details, and adapting in real time. When the call is complete, we store the results and call logs in our database and return a clear status back to the user.
So here's our demo. On the profile page, we can modify our default contact info, and it will automatically be pre-filled when we place a reservation. And we can also select the region here, so the featured restaurant on the Discover page match the specific area. Now let's see, we search for sushi and select the restaurant. As you can see, all the restaurant and contact info are pre-filled. And for this demo, we just changed the restaurant phone number to our own phone number. And then you can adjust the reservation details and start the AI call.
Hello.
もしもし。
こんにちは。レストランのデンさんでしょうか。
はい、そうです。
すみません。お客様の代理で予約をお願いしたいのですが、3月4日の午後9時に、2名でジェニーという名前で予約できますでしょうか。
少々お待ちくださいね。
はい、お願いします。
6時はちょっと難しいのですが、日曜日の6時でしたらいかがでしょうか。
樹脂は難しいですか。日曜日の粒子ですね。承知いたしました。 お客様に確認して、改めてご連絡させていただきます。
じゃあお願いします。
はい、ありがとうございます。出力いたします。
So now go back to our homepage. You will notice an action required box since the date we select was not available, but the restaurant provide an alternative time. And you can
Hello!
talk the processor
もしもし
including
こ
the
ちらは島屋さんでしょうか。
original transcript
はい、そうです。
audio. And you can then respond right here based on the call summary provided by our agent. And let's say the new time works for us. We just simply fill the updated information and click callback.
Hello!
もしもし
もしもし。私はスイーセンさんの代理で、以前お電話いたしました。予約の件でご連絡いたしました。3月実施翌日の午後期に2名で予約をお願いしておりましたが、その際に3月祝単価の日曜日の午後、リュッシュでしたら可能というお話でしたので、その間で確認のお電話をいたしました。
あ、わかりました。まだお席をご予約できます。
ありがとうございます。それでは3月実施参加の日曜日の午後9時に2名で予約をお願いいたします。
So now the restaurant has confirmed our new reservation and we can see it's successfully placed on the upcoming event section.
Yep. So that's very simple. So with MoshiMoshi, you can just sit down and eat. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next team is IdeaWeave.
Hello everyone, our product is IdeaWeave. We focus on the content creator who explain the idea and concepts through the social media and by the diagram and the structured visuals. Today, they have two problems. The first one is fragmented workflow. Thinking, structuring, recording, drawing happens in a different platform, breaking the creativity. And the second is we all know that drawing a diagram is time consuming. Structuring the complex idea and the layout needs a lot of the mental efforts. But these two separate problems come down to one key challenge, that is turning ambiguity into the structure. And this is where AI can exactly help us by reducing the cognition friction from the thinking to explaining. As a result, we built IdeaWeave. IdeaWeave is an AI-native workspace that supports the whole working flow. Instead of just generating the result, we design an interaction process from clarify, generate, refine, and explain. We all know that users co-create with AI step by step from a rough idea to the diagram and directly into the explainer video, and all in one canvas. Moreover, IdeaWeave will learn from your every interaction and build a long-term persona and help you and become your personal creation agent.
I'll show you a demo here.
What if you could explain any idea visually? Describe your idea. AI turns your words into a diagram in seconds. And your diagram can present itself.
So let me walk you through how I think about product development, because it's not a straight line from idea to launch.
But sometimes ideas need more depth. Then you can use Weave mode. Bring a topic or any context. Our AI brainstorm with you. When you are clear, it draws. And everything is editable. Drag, restyle, refine. Now, hit record. AI writes a script for you. And you can present it right from the canvas. When you're done, your video is ready. This is IdeaWeave. Explain any idea visually.
Okay, I will talk about our early go-to strategy and feedbacks. Our GTM has mainly happened through social media and based on two channels. First is direct outreach to creators, where we send in direct messages, invite them to try our product. Second is publishing content with IdeaWeave. Instead of just posting product demos, we also made a lot of videos with IdeaWeave, including topics like AI-related discussions, vibe coding experiences, and those videos actually attract a lot of attentions. In the past 4 weeks, we have gained over 100,000 exposures on social media and over 200 users. As you can see, our weekly active users are steadily going up. For feedbacks, some feedbacks are definitely critical, but most of them are encouraging. Users point out our UI looks great, and some content creators that our platform is really useful and saves them a lot of time and effort. Even so, these are still very early stage signals, but I think it really gives us confidence that we are solving something real.
Here are the two key insights we learned from building IdeaWeave. The first is interesting is not the same thing as useful. As engineers, we are always focused about what is more interesting, what is technical challenging, but actually what really matters is what the users actually need. And another thing is iteration. Iteration matters more than perfection, and we are always keeping faster shipping, faster building, and then we keep gaining feedback from our users and keep improving our product, and so that we can build a successful product. And here's IdeaWeave, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Now, Team Backpack.
So I see there are three more teams, and yeah, so final stretch. Let's go.
Hi, everyone. We're Team Backpack, and this quarter, we built the platform that bridges the gap between students and teachers, giving students personalized support while giving actionable insights for professors. But first, let's talk about why we are fit to solve this problem. As TAs across many of Stanford's top CS courses, we've logged thousands of hours trying to bridge the gap between the students and professors, but we still know that firsthand students lack the personalized support that they need, and professors remain in the dark about the class's understanding of the material until exams are already graded, and at that point, it's far too late.
A problem that we commonly saw is that we would pull off people would come in and say that they're caught up on lecture, they understand the ideas, but if we prompted them a little further to push them about their thinking, things start to fall apart. Not because the students are lazy, but because they just haven't had a chance to work with material in a situation like this. As students ourselves, we also know this feeling. You know, you go to lecture, you read over your notes, then the midterm comes up, and suddenly you realize you didn't actually know the material. You're just able to recognize it. This gap between recognizing and knowing is where learning breaks down, and no time. Here's why that gap persists. The tools that students currently have are either completely passive or high stakes and one-dimensional. One end, we have tools like Notebook LLM, just going over the slides yourselves, or lecture recordings, and then on the other ends, you typically have these diagnostic tests that reduce your count to a singular number. There's nothing that's in between and says that, you know, we'll talk you through it and we'll meet you where you are. The real solution has always existed. It's office hours. You know, you get to sit with your instructor one-on-one, talk about where your understanding is, and then you two work together to build an understanding of what the student knows, and the instructor is able to help you bridge those gaps. The most effective learning interaction is already there, but the problem is it just doesn't scale yet.
So to build this, we distilled down to 3 things. First is that it has to feel like a conversation. It has to be easy for the students to brain dump and have it be low stakes. Secondly, the structure has to come from the student because the students aren't, has been from teachers because the students aren't proactive enough and they don't know what they don't know. Finally, it has to serve both sides. The same conversation that can help students find their gaps can provide immensely valuable insights for the instructors. Now, how do we actually bring this into the world without adding extra work for everyone? We have identified like the end of lecture to be the perfect time for this, as concepts are fresh, stakes are low, and there's still time before knowledge gaps can compound. But what do students currently do after class? Nothing. We have pour out notes that are too much work, and exit tickets exist, but they're just static and reductive. So what if exit ticket was a conversation? Low effort, you just brain dump, and the structure comes entirely from the teacher. But unlike anything before it, the agent is smart enough to provide room and find the gaps. Students get a real chance to practice recall, stumble, and actually lock in the material, and teachers actually get to see inside the room. So without further ado, we have our demo.
The demos. So it all starts when the teacher logs in and creates a course or joins a course that they've already created. From there, they can upload their syllabus, and then they can create a module. A module is it's like a grouping of content, maybe a lecture. They upload that, and then our agents in the background process that content, make an overview and learning goals for the students. From there, the professor can review these learning goals and the takeaways and refine with AI or manually until they are happy with the learning goals. Then we can take a look at what the students will see at this point. When you log in as a student, you can generate flashcards, you can make a quiz, and even some long form podcasts to maybe like passively learn while you go on a walk.
I'm Professor Sarah Kim. In this episode, we'll set the stage for the Machine Learning Essentials module. We'll unpack logistic regression and the sigmoid function.
So from this page, Backpack also generates a personalized tutoring session. These sessions are voice-based, conversational, and grounded in course material. And here's where the magic is. The tutor probes, but it's not just asking a precise set of questions. It's actually maintaining a live model of the student understanding and forming hypotheses about where the gap is, and deciding in real time whether to probe deeper, offer a nudge, or fill in what's missing. Notice it doesn't just correct, it knows what's been established, what's shaky, and what to try next. That's not scripted. That's just what a good tutor does. Okay. And then on the instructor side, every session generates a set of insights. This isn't just a score, it's actually a map of what each student is solid, where they're shaky, and what concepts are confusing across the whole class. We can also see which examples didn't land and what to revisit next lecture. The student can also view these insights and see what they want to work on more. And this completely ensures that students and instructors both will have a cohesive, streamlined learning and teaching experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now Team Goji.
Hi, everyone. We are Goji, and today we have a question to one of the biggest questions being asked, an answer to the biggest questions being asked in education today. When should AI be used in school? Before AI, especially in large lecture classrooms, help from the teaching team is a finite resource. But today with AI, that's all different now. For students, AI can help them learn and work faster and get unstuck when they need support most. But they're wary of the honor code that limits when they can use these tools. For teachers, those tools might be able to help provide the support that AI, support to all students for the entire class to help them succeed, but they are wary that the AIs might not actually be helping students learn. To answer this question, we believe that our team is uniquely situated because all of us are course assistants, meaning that we are both teachers and students. We understand that a good answer to this question is one that addresses all of the points that we just addressed. So my name is Justin, and our team, Ashley, Ryan, and Brady, are going to talk more about the product.
Awesome. So as Justin was just saying, we wanted to approach this not only from the student side, but also from the teacher side. So our big overview of what we built an integrated teacher view. So there's dashboards that gives teachers insights into how their materials are being used, if there's any gaps, and where students are the most shaky on their topics. Second, we wanted to build a dual view for students. So our browser extension, which is the main way that we expect students to engage with the platform, has or gives students the ability to work with Goji directly in wherever they're doing their PFETs. So whether that's Overleaf or a doc, they can see Goji right next to exactly where they're working. Finally, the full student view has all of the same features as the browser extension. So that is drag retrieval, as well as a chat feature and an explore feature, which we'll talk about more moving forward.
So Goji is uniquely situated in this competitive landscape for two reasons. One, we are a helper, not a solver. So the way it works specifically with Goji's Explore feature, if a student asks a question, it responds only with relevant course materials and just overarching topics linked to uploaded teacher materials that the student can then check and review. Second, Goji only uses curated documents. So that's teacher vetted and teacher uploaded documents, unlike general LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, which use just the entire internet. So teachers don't have to worry about students possibly getting just like stuff that's outside of the scope of the class or just complete misinformation.
Now, this need to curate AI-specific course helpers was something that we not only thought of as the CAs and from our perspectives, but throughout the entire ideation and development process of Goji, we worked closely with introductory computer science and math instructors, not only to hear the perspectives they had and improve our product, but they actually said that Goji is, quote, a tool that would actually promote learning. And we went to the students also to get their perspective, doing 30 to 1 hour sessions with 20 plus students across all years to gather information and feedback to actually see that they would want to use this tool. And we've actually had students request that they use this tool for classes that they're already in. And so now we want to see what Goji actually is. Okay.
Okay, so Goji can help teachers better manage their courses more efficiently. So as you see here on the teacher dashboard, the teachers have access to a large swath of just course and student data. So it's just all aggregated so they can see, for example, if students try to jailbreak the model, what topics are being frequently asked about, what documents are most surfaced in the queries, and then just overall just other statistics. And then also you can see you can manually add students or just import a CSV file from Canvas. So it's just ease of access. And then also you can batch upload materials and just drag and drop folders. Lastly, you can just check the student view so you can actually see what your students are interacting.
And teachers can see this, but students can as well. This is the main way that students would interact with Goji. They can interact in two ways, as we've talked about. So there's both the chat feature or the explore feature. Chat allows them to speak back and forth with a summarization of the materials that are brought back and returned by our RAG, as well as view the actual materials that were brought back so they can click through them directly. The explore feature just minimizes that so students can explore just the materials of the course and don't have to worry about the summarization as well. And as you can see, these are all of the different places where students can click through and see sources. There's both inline as well as on the side, and they can browse all of their past chats on the left side. Oh. Stop.
Okay. We want to thank everyone who participated in the development of Goji, especially our mentor, Vadim. And so we actually found out there are a lot of interesting projects and investigations within different Stanford departments that are investigating the same project. So our next steps are to actually integrate into a real course. So if you want to try out Goji or talk to us about the integration, let us know. Thank you.
Also much. And last but not least,
we got one more presentation.
Yes.
Sup
AI.
Sup AI.
What's up, everyone? I'm here to present Sup AI, and my name is Ken. So there's a few problems with modern AI. Every model hallucinates, and every model misses things. But the one saving grace is that these errors don't strongly correlate, which means that different models have different errors. They make different mistakes. And so if only we could know which parts were likely accurate and which parts were likely hallucinations. This is my solution, Sup AI. We recently held the #1 score on humanities last exam without tools. And what we do is an ensemble of many different LLMs, and we only synthesize the high confidence portions of that. And we were able to look into the token probabilities for each model and synthesize only the high confidence parts, and that's what we show the user. We have 339 active models now, So that's how many models I can pick from in the ensemble. This is more than any other platform, including OpenRouter, and I've painstakingly added every single one. Here. Okay, so here's a demo. So I created a project, and now I'm uploading a file. This is a chart, and then I also uploaded a PDF. So it's extracting all the pages, it's processing the pages, then it's going to generate the embeddings, and it's going to save the file. So now that's in my project. And so now I'm going to explicitly select expert mode, which has the highest confidence threshold, the highest thinking efforts, and the most amount of models in the ensemble. Here are a bunch of models that I have. I'm typing in my prompt right now. So I ask it a question. First, searches my knowledge base, and I'll go into exactly what this whole RAG system is, but at the end, we get 2 sources. And I'll show those. So it shows 9 different models to run in parallel with different levels of thinking efforts. Each model, you can see it think as it goes. It has access to a bunch of different tools like code execution, web search, and I'll go into a few of the other tools in a little bit. You'll see a confidence score next to each one. That is the final confidence score that I show the user, but internally, I actually have different confidence scores for each segment of the response. So back to Sup AI, I'm going to wait for them to finish. That is the sources panel. So it pulled up that graph and it pulled up a few pages of that PDF. And so those are the transcriptions. I send the actual PDF to models that support it, though. So once all of the models are done, Sup AI is now synthesizing using another model. And so it's only getting the high confidence portions of each model. So this is the most accurate response as proven by the benchmark. And so this is the final Sup AI response. Okay, so now it's done. So now I'm going to ask a follow-up question. What should I buy? So it's searching my knowledge base again for, I don't know if there's any clues, but turns out there's no clues. So in order to not produce a hallucinated response, I ask clarification questions. What's your approximate budget for this purchase? Sorry, it's a video artifact. So now with those clarification questions, it's going to research the knowledge base, and it's going to choose a bunch of new models. So the models are going like before, but GPT 5.4 Pro is taking a while, so I'm just going to cancel that one. And so it's going to use the other model evidence. So here it's responding just like before. Okay, so what did I do? What did I do this semester? I went from 30 different models that I can choose from to 339 different models that I can choose from. I built an ensemble RAG system because just one RAG system is not enough. Turns out the errors correlate with different RAG systems as well. I made recursive lossless compaction to solve different context windows of the models. I added clarification questions, global chat memory, searching chats, plans and rollover tokens, usage statistics, browser notifications, canceling specific models, and much more. Let me tell you a little bit about the ensemble RAG. We have 3 different strategies: text embeddings, multimodal embeddings, and then hallucinated response embeddings. What we do is we rewrite the prompt into a better prompt, but then also we split it into a bunch of subprompts. And then we use reciprocal rank fusion to combine all of the scores of all the different embedding retrievals. We do contextual boosts in case a chat is more recent or it's older. And then we re-rank it all with multiple different re-rankers, and then we dedupe the responses. And so this is my recursive lossless compaction. The issue, and why this is such an issue for Sup AI specifically, is because some models have very, very tiny token limits, very tiny context windows, and some models have huge context windows. So how am I supposed to send the same prompt to both? Can't. So I have 8-level progressive compaction from no compaction to very, very extreme compaction. And this is critical to take advantage of prefix caching to save on cost, speed, and we were able to get it down to essentially the cost of running a single model, but with a higher thinking effort. We reused compaction over different models, and as part of my lossless setup, I created tools to load necessary parts of the conversation. Clarifying questions are necessary because LLMs will always respond to you. But if there's not enough context, then they'll respond with the hallucinated answer, a low confidence answer. And so this is costly and produces poor responses. You're able to get your usage statistics. So you're able to buy plans, you're able to add auto recharge, manage your billing, fill up on tokens, and we split every single request internally with the amount of tokens, cache read, cache write. And so thank you for listening. Contact me and I'll give you a free month, or if you're an existing user, $30. Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, I just saw some really amazing projects that we had for this quarter. I cannot believe that they developed this in such a short period of time. And just to be clear, like all the projects that you saw, these are all real projects. Like these are real complete projects that they're not toys. They're not like your typical student projects. These are ones that people that they've actually worked through, built. They handle the corner cases. They're very complete products there, right? And I think I was keeping count as we were going through. I think there was at least 6 or 7 like future decacorns in this group. So definitely, if you got a chance to be here, get a chance, find some of the students who have worked on these projects, track them down, go chat with them, take a selfie with them, whatever, because like in the future, I'm pretty sure you're gonna hear about them again. But anyway, thank you guys for coming. We're gonna all be here, and then I'll show each of the teams. They have demos. Some has posters as well. They'll be demonstrating their products, and yeah. So I hope you get a chance to meet some of the teams and meet each other as well.
Yeah, and thanks students for your dedication, your passion, your involvement. It's really what makes the course work.
Right. Thank you.